Hi, welcome to Face to Face. My name's Vic Perri, and tonight we're going to talk about body image. And I have a few experts here who know a thing or two. First up, we've got Duane Duncan, and Duane at the moment's doing a study into body image.
That's right, I'm doing my PhD through Monash University, and I'm talking to self-identified gay men about what it's like to identify as a gay man, the focus on appearance and body image, those kinds of things.
Yep. All right, and next up we've got Craig Michaels from First Impressions Count.
G'day Vic. Yeah, First Impressions Count was originated, we've got a Brunswick studio where we look after and do complete makeovers for people, but to give something back to the community, we set up another business called Back to Work Training, which helps long-term unemployed get back into the workforce by doing their hair, their makeup and buying them new outfits. So it's quite a nice balance.
All right, and next up, Dr. Richard Young, and you're a cosmetic physician.
Yes, Vic, we've got two cosmetic surgery centres, one in Alstonwick, one in Beacon Cove. And even though it's a general cosmetic centre where anyone can present, we do have a special slant towards gay males and the specific needs of gay males in terms of cosmetic surgery.
All right, so we're talking about gay men, and that's the context that we're talking about regarding body image. Now, first up, Duane, what have you found so far in the interviews that you've done with gay men?
Well, I kind of expected that there would be quite an oppressive image that most gay men were experiencing. And that I haven't found that to be the case. Most gay men are actually quite capable of negotiating a range of expectations about what they should appear like, and are quite good at dismissing really specific or negative, what they would experience as negative ideals.
Is it despite because we know about the pressure to have a particular sort of body type and image, and particularly the gay media is very good at sort of projecting that. Was there a lot of concern about that, of the pressure of trying to keep up?
A lot of my participants have been really reflective about images within the gay media, and particularly, there's a focus on a very white, muscular, hairless, tanned kind of visual image of what a gay man ideally should be. So I was really interested in that dynamic, and a lot of people were really reflective about that particular image. But also, I think more broadly within mainstream media, how mainstream media presented an idealised image of what gay men should be. And so gay men are quite reflective about how dominant and non-representative those images are. Which I think is really, really interesting.
And did you find that in the sort of the people that you spoke to? Was there a diverse range?
There was such a diversity.
There's
such a diversity of different kinds of body types, and some people who benefit, from that kind of structure, who obviously are tanned and buff and quite celebrated within this culture, and quite reflective or dismissive about that, and then other people who were actually quite troubled by that. And a lot of my work is actually focused on talking to people who are quite troubled by those ideals.
So you're talking about the sort of interaction between the expectation or the pressure,
the pressure,
what they
expectation,
want,
and what that actually looks like day to day. What it means in terms of the grooming, going to the gym, the car, the clothing, just everything that's involved in meeting a certain expectation. And then also looking more broadly at where that expectation comes from. Is it simply about an oppressive gay community, or is it something more broader? Who says that gay men should be this particular kind of shape and size and body appearance?
And what about the negative impact on a person's self-esteem and confidence?
I've been surprised. That's one of my motivations to doing the project was to look at those kinds of things. But a lot of guys are quite, I guess, they move in and out of the scene. They take what they like and they leave behind what they don't like. And so, there's an awareness of the pressures and the expectations, but also the ability, I think, to leave those behind to a certain extent. But everyone is different, and some people I've spoken to have been really troubled by these kinds of things, and that's why I'm hoping my study might make a contribution is, you know, opening up a dialogue to talk about these issues a little bit more.
Yeah. Now, Craig, your particular, or the work that you do is for, so I suppose, for a specific purpose. It's about getting people to.
A lot of it's really about getting people job ready. We focus on a lot of people, whether it's looking at somebody that's in a corporate career, addressing the general manager from access superannuation, right down to somebody that just needs to get a job. It's all about the first 30 seconds. One of our slogans is the first 30 seconds are crucial, because it's been proven at Harvard University. Somebody will make a judgment that's interviewing you within the 7 seconds, walking in, shaking their hand, look you up and down, it's done. So you have to change that impression in 7 seconds. So what we've got to do is dress the outside to make sure that you actually have that chance in competing. So we do the whole thing where we do a total makeover for you, measure you up for your suit, or whether you're going into casual clothing, depending what it is. So we want to create an individual look for a person, so that way it's not a stereotype at the same time. So we have a lot of gay guys coming through to us that really don't know where to go to get a suit, or how to put it together, or how to buy a suit. What's a double vent? What's a single vent? What's a pleat? What should they and what shouldn't they be wearing? So what we want to do is teach them how to put it all together at the same time. And they walk out standing a foot taller because they go, wow, I look fantastic. I couldn't do this myself. So it's about sort of assisting and showing people how to put things together. So it's about the teaching episode.
And Richard, there, I suppose you're doing it from another angle.
I find it interesting what Duane was just saying, in that you have this pressure from the media, and we all know what the classic iconic image is. From my point of view, there's that eternal question of, why does this person want to look a certain way? And I can help them to look a certain way with superficial cosmetic procedures, but will it really make them happy? If you're genuinely unhappy with yourself as a person, I can make you look better, but do you walk out, being a happier person? And we have a saying in the surgery, no one who walks in unhappy walks out happy, even though they look better. But two, you can look at it from the other angle, where you can say, look, someone who looks better is genuinely more confident. We didn't set the rules, but society says when you do look better, people treat you differently, you get your own things a little bit more, all the anthropological studies support it, and you start to make your own luck. So are we helping them that way? Then you can take the middle road and say, well, we're the same as a hairdresser. This is the latest haircut, you want to look a certain way, you just do it, nothing more, nothing less, and you can take it that way. And it varies very much between the three, depending on what the surgical candidate is like, and that comes from the pre-surgery sort of interviews. We try and screen them very carefully, because obviously the two lighter ones are great surgical candidates, and everyone's going to be happy, especially me. But the one who's genuinely unhappy person, who thinks that by changing their appearance they will introduce real happiness into their life and real satisfaction, is just going to be a disaster for everyone.
And so something's artificial as a nose job or things like that isn't necessarily going to fix the emotional substance of a person. And we'll talk more about that, because there's many more issues that are involved in this sort of area. But we're just going to have a short break, so don't go away. We'll be back very shortly. And welcome back to Face to Face. I'm Vic Perri, and tonight we're talking to Duane Duncan, Craig Michaels and Richard Young. We're talking about body image. Now, so far we've sort of spoken briefly about the background stuff. Now let's sort of get into some issues. Now, something I'm very interested in is that sort of problem with self-esteem and confidence, and what sort of changes can happen, emotionally, by doing the surface stuff. Now, what have you found in the interviews that you've done in terms of what people think the impact is on their confidence and self-esteem? I mean, you've already mentioned that some people do have trouble with it. Is there any, how easy is to have solutions or to sort out stuff by, for a person who's got, say, low self-esteem, how easy it is to fix it by, looking at a magazine photo and thinking, right, I'm going to be like that and I'll be happy?
I can't say directly from my interviews. I mean, the thing that interested me the most was the fact that the range of possibilities for feeling good about the way you look is increasingly very, very small. And so there's a very normative range of possible looks that you might hope to achieve or you might desire. And associated with that was a certain conflict between resenting being subject to, judgments of what you should look like, and then also desiring, the very one thing you didn't like being subject to. So, I mean, I always found that very, very interesting.
And Craig, with the clients that come to you, what sort of clients do you have? I mean, do you sort of both different genders, sexualities?
Male and female, both straight, both gay. It's amazing. Everyone is now looking at that whole factor, like the straight guys that are coming through, that metrosexual push is absolutely huge. And then we're also finding that we're getting a lot of the younger guys coming through going, okay, it is okay to actually go to a stylist and have someone do all the work for you, because we've been around for years, but it's only now the publicity with, different TV shows that have happened in the past that people are aware of, like there is services out there like us where we will go through your whole wardrobe and put it all together for you. We'll show you how to create that look for yourself. A lot of people don't know what type of image they want to do and what their body shape can carry off, because at the same time you may be looking at a magazine like you were just saying and you go, this is what I want to look like, but it's not physical possible. So what we want to do is create your own image for you and show you how to put that together. And it's okay to do the outside, but like we were just chatting in the break, it's the emotional side as well.
What do you do there then?
Well, one of the things that we try to doing is really talking to that person and about boosting their confidence and, showing them how good they actually look after doing their hair. And, especially with the girls, when you do the new makeup and we get the guys from L'Oreal through and get it all done so they feel fantastic, look in the mirror and see the difference. But one of the key things we do is we take before and after photos when we're actually dressing them as well. So when they come into the studio, take the before shot and then show them in the new look that we've put together, and they go, wow, it doesn't look like me. And I go, that's why we do it.
Do you do any sort of capacity building to actually get them to develop skills in job interviews?
We don't with the interviews we actually do. We actually have a training company called Back to Work Training, which we actually do that, where we actually have training courses where we take them through 3-hour programs and teach them how to actually get past the interview. That first 30 seconds when someone meets you, how to do the handshake, what you should be dressed like, how you should be a full Windsor knot. We teach guys who are either unemployed or right through to general managers how to do a full Windsor knot. These days you see people have got a schoolboy knot on and they're going into the interview and they're just not making that difference. French cuffs, cufflinks with shirts, showing them all those type of things that they need to do. We even look at people's resumes and say, okay, if you're going for an interview, you want us to dress you, bring your resume in. We'll actually have a look at that as well, because with our training company, we look at making sure you make the best impression. So many times out there, there's companies that are doing your resumes for you that really haven't got up to date with what people are after. Resume should be 2 pages. So what we do is we give them those type of skills. Then we say, okay, here's 30 questions that they would normally ask you. 10 of these are definitely going to appear. Have a cue card. Remember what these things are. And people say, what do you want a cue card for? And we say, well, if you write something down, you read it before your interview, psychologically, you'll actually remember it. People that talk with their hands, we teach them what to do with their hands in the interview. So we do give them a lot of practical skills at the same time. So it's something new for us that we're doing with that.
Richard, with cosmetic surgery then, how much of is there a pre and post sort of counselling? How much
in an ideal world, it would be extensive, both pre and post. But in the practical sense, it really comes down to your interview at the original presentation, and you say, well, why do you want to do this procedure? It's an open question. You let the person talk, and you're looking at everything. You're looking at body language and their actual answers and things like that. And many times I've been fooled, and halfway through something, you find out somebody's having a procedure because their partner is sleeping with someone who's younger than them, and they want to look younger. And I was saying to the other guys during the break, no surgical procedure is going to stop your partner sleep with someone younger. But if you don't find that out, and you have a very short period of time in which to find that out, so a lot of times you're actually trusting that the person is of reasonable, mind to handle the procedure. Are they doing it for the right reasons, inverted commas? And unfortunately, the economic reality in a lot of situations where I've seen bad surgeries is people will take people's money because they asked for the procedure. So all in all, it actually leads to more problems as a doctor in the end. So the real aim is to deselect poor surgical cancer before, and maybe ask them, say, look, I've got a very good psychologist who works with us, not in the same building, but who I refer to, and he's a gay guy, he's older, and he works with body image especially, and he's on Commercial Road, and he's fantastic, and the surgical candidates who I don't think are good, I'll say maybe you're better off seeing him.
What sort of percentage do you have people that go
that's a
through
good
the
question.
whole process,
That's a very good
and
question.
people who decide halfway?
Yeah. And look, and it's not even as black and white as that. Very often we still do things, but I say, look, it'd be an idea to go and see X and have a chat, because you know you've identified some issues when we were talking before your procedure and things like that. That being said, I've seen a lot of people come out, and they look fantastic, and all of a sudden their seeming, minor sort of low self-esteem problems seem to disappear as they're going out and being Mr. Popular and things like that. That's not always the norm. So it works. It's a very complex situation, and the pressures are so multifactorial that just seeing the psychologist, just having your Botox and things like that, it's so complicated.
It is, and we'll talk more about the complicated sort of issues or factors around that. And we'll just have another short break, so don't go away. We'll be back very shortly. And welcome back to Face to Face. I'm Vic Perri, and I'm joined by Duane, Duncan and Craig Michaels. Richard Young had to leave us for today, but we've got another guest. We've got Mark Caval. How are you, Mark?
Not bad, thank you.
And you belong to a company called Below the Belt.
Yes.
And this is basically you sell underwear online.
That's right, we sell men's underwear online, yes.
So tell us about your customers. What sort of customers do you have?
We have, I guess, it's a variety of customers. I mean, predominantly because we market more to the gay market, a lot of gay clientele. However, we do have straight clientele and women as well who are buying maybe for husbands or for gifts. I guess there's some people who sometimes we get people who can be embarrassed to buy underwear out at shops, and so they tend to buy online because it is very discreet. We've even had sometimes people who get even paranoid that they've even purchased something sometimes, and they would ask us to put it into an envelope which doesn't indicate at all what's in there or where it's from. So because especially if you're out in the country. So we have, I guess, a wide variety of people.
Do you learn much about your clients in terms of tastes and like over time, the reasons why they buy particular products?
We have found we get consumer feedback, and being email, often people will write in because they feel a lot more. It's not like talking to somebody, and email is very anonymous in a sense.
Safer.
It is very safe, and they can just write into you, and you don't even know who it is. So we do get feedback about people who buy particular products, and generally we find they go for two things. One is certainly for comfort, they go for, but also in terms of how the brand is perceived. And if it's perceived to be cool or the next best thing in, then it just sort of goes out the door. It is, for instance, we get orders coming from Japan, and they would be definitely for Ian Thorpe because of how he's viewed over there. But in Australia, we don't necessarily have so much of Ian Thorpe being sold, but it caters for the Japan market. Another brand which came here, which was CN2, it was perceived, because of the marketing, that it was very in, and all of a sudden that started running out the door. So it seems to be as to what is the brand that is in, people go for. But if it isn't comfortable and it doesn't wear well, then they certainly change very, very quickly.
All right, now, one thing I wanted to talk about, and I suppose the potential problem of, because you're talking about the work that you do and the aim of what you do. What I'm sort of thinking about are the concerns of perpetuating the issue of people worrying about so much about how they look in their image and keeping up with the expectation to look like the guys in the magazines and that sort of thing. Do you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you see that as perpetuating that problem? I mean, should we be concentrating more on what's inside rather than what
I
person
think
looks like?
one of the key things people have to do is try to find, like, if you are going shopping, we get this with a lot of women, especially in the straight situation where they could be with corporates and so forth, that will go shopping and keep shopping just for the sake of they're not happy at home or there's something else that's wrong. And being a stylist, we've got the image consulting business, and what we try to do is highlight those problems to them and say, look, you've got 70 handbags, you really don't need any more handbags. Like, this is a problem, we need to do something here. It's retail therapy, but seriously, what we want to be able to do is address some of those issues. And we actually do talk to them and say, because we build up such a relationship with someone, especially when we go into their home, because let's face it, we've got them almost butt naked in their underwear in front of us getting changed right through the whole thing. So we see them warts and all, as we say, for the simple fact that we're going through someone's wardrobe, looking at everything, what they've done and what they haven't done, and that can tell us a lot about a person as well. So yeah, we do try to help them out with that. And like Richard was saying earlier, there is someone we recommend as well that's a psychologist that we sort of say.
I was going to ask, how honest are you?
Yeah, no, you have to be.
Clients?
You need to. Our company is growing from such a small thing into quite a large company now because of the honesty, and we don't advertise, it's word of mouth. So it's been an amazing thing for us, and some of that comes from the recommendations that we've made to one of the psychologists. For the simple fact that it's like, well, they've looked after it. It's not about just going shopping and putting something together. We become friends with most of them. Like, we get called out to, christenings and barbecues and everything in the straight scene, and same with the gay scene. Spring Racing Carnival just around the corner. Like, they're all worried about what they're going to look like. It's like, darling, your hat's okay. Stop panicking. I need it bigger. Well, how big do you want it? Like, it's okay the way it is. So you really have to work with the client to make sure that they feel comfortable and happy at the same time. So it is a hard one.
Duane, just want to ask you, and in the context of, I suppose, the gay community and the pressures and expectations there, is that sort of an increasing problem? I'm sort of thinking of the a bigger perspective here now, bigger picture. Is that a big problem? Is it getting?
I think participants have said to me 20 years ago, the range of the range of body types were much wider, and they've slimmed down. And when you go out now, you look around and everyone looks the same or is trying to achieve the same look, and that's pretty boring, it's pretty depressing. But it's one of the great ironies of the kind of contemporary period we're in is that the more services that are available for helping us to achieve more comfort and self-assurance with the way we look, the more anxious, the more obsessive that we actually become. And so I guess at the heart of my project, the heart of talking about body image is this complication between feeling happier and more comfortable about the way you look, and then actually becoming more obsessive and actually unhappy through that process.
And the opportunities, the opportunities are there, to join a gym and to go to companies that do that sort of stuff and do cosmetic surgery. What about the support and opportunities to take care of the inside and take care of the self-confidence? Is there a, and again, thinking of the bigger picture in society, is there a balance, or is society too focused on the image and not the
that's a big question. I couldn't say. It would appear to be that case, wouldn't it?
And
I think
more so in the gay community than say the wider.
I think we're about to experience a shift. I really do. Just talking to people out there, the frustration with the images that do exist, and particularly that sex sells, the dominance of sex and the dominance of particular images that sell. There's a frustration with how pervasive those are, and a desire to see something fresh and something different. And so I think it's inevitable that things will change and evolve. It's just, for people coming out, when you're gay, you have to negotiate these things. There's no alternative. You have to be thinking about how you look and how you appear and whether you're going to be desirable on the scene, whether you're going to be successful on the scene. And so, depending on how successful you are at negotiating that or dealing with that, you have to deal with it. And so I guess those are the kind of things I'm looking at.
So it's an ongoing struggle.
It's an ongoing
isn't it,
struggle,
really?
yeah.
And it can seem unfair as well.
It can be
sometimes,
very unfair.
particularly for people who know that it's going to be impossible to look like that.
That's right.
But they're being told
Yep.
they need to look like that in order to be successful.
That's right.
And that can be just it's unfair.
That's right, and for all of us, as we age, as we grow older, we're all going to feel the negative effects
not
of
getting in the
this focus in our content.
Thank God for the bear community is all I can say from me. All right, well, thanks very much, guys. We've run out of time. Thank you, Duane, Duncan, Craig, And I've forgotten your name. Sorry, Mark. Thanks very much. And you've been watching Face to Face. I'm Vic Perri. We'll see you next time.